Hello. We are going to outline our drawing for our Julian Onderdonk bluebonnet drawing. Now this is a finished, almost finished drawing using watercolor pencils, and you may use colored pencils or watercolor pencils or a regular pencil. I'd prefer you to draw it in blue if you have a watercolor pencil or a colored pencil in blue. That would be best. So this is what nearly finished looks like, but we're going to start at the beginning and just do the drawing right now. So you want to divide your paper in 3 parts. Remember, we talked about, and we did this before on our Frank Ray landscape with the longhorns. We divided our paper in 9 sections, which is using the rule of thirds for our composition. So you can do this if you don't have a ruler or you don't want to measure. You may do this by folding your paper in 3 parts. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. It's like you would fold it to put it in a long envelope. So that's about 9 parts. That's one way to do it. And then you can draw your landscape line, the horizon for your sky, along the back fold. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. And then your foreground you can draw on the next. But if you have a ruler, you may use a straight edge ruler. So I'm going to take this folded one out. And I'm going to use a ruler, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. Paper's about 8.5, but you have to measure yours. You may have a sheet that's 9 inches, which is really easier, but just eyeball it. That's not quite 3 inches, and maybe not quite 6 inches. You can put 2 marks. What you want to do, what you're doing is dividing your composition like we did with our other landscape, so that there's 3 planes. There's the foreground, the middle ground, and the background. The next thing you want to do is you want to take a diagonal line and run it from the corner of your middle piece down to the corner, the other corner, the opposite corner. So I'm going to draw a little darker. You may do this very lightly. So I've drawn a diagonal line all the way down. The next thing I'm going to do is way up here on the horizon, I'm going to do some rolling hills. Because as you know, the Texas, especially where the bluebonnets grow, there are a lot of rolling hills. So now you should have a horizon line and some rolling hills and then a foreground up in here. I also would like us to put a path. So put some dots to make our path nice and wide down here. Now remember perspective, remember the railroad tie lines. It goes back and diminishes to 1 point. We looked at that in class. But what you want to do is do an S, and you want to start your S way back here. And then start at the top as if they almost touch, and make it wider and wider. Your path here should be extremely wide. Back here, it diminishes to almost nothing, 1 point. So you've got your basic drawing done now. I would add some little trees. There are a lot of trees in Texas. They don't grow real tall because of all the heat. but this will be our tree line. And Julian Onderdonk did many, many paintings like this, and he inspired other people. And there are still people that paint these today, these landscapes. And we're going to put a big tree over here where this other fold line was. I didn't draw them in. Let's put a nice big tree. See how I'm wiggling it? Wiggle, wiggle. We've talked about this. They get smaller as they get back. They go back. They make little Ys, Yahweh Ys. And maybe a little scrub brush here. So now we have our basic landscape drawn, and it's our basic composition. We have one tree intersecting at this point where the two lines come together, a bunch more trees over in this section. These corners are different from each other. There's a path that goes back. We're going to have atmospheric perspective in the back here with our colors. And I'm going to just indicate, now don't draw these very dark, but I'm going to put some light cloud line along here, just for me. All right, this is the first step in making a Julian Onderdonk inspired landscape. Now, go find a drawing of a bluebonnet and practice your bluebonnets. Bye-bye.